I was 13 when I won the national sub-junior and the national junior. When I was 16, I became national champion for the first time. She took out the chessboard and she taught me the rules, and they might have given me a book that they happened to have at home, and that was it. My dad worked in the railways all his life. My entire early childhood was spent in the railway colony. Losing the title is a heavy blow. It's the end of a journey which dominates your thinking for many years of your life. For a couple of months, I couldn't even bear to look at chess.
You all paint together also?
I wish I could. I mean, in school I did the two mountains and a sun.
Oh yeah, same. We were really good then. When was the last time you made a spontaneous decision that turned out to be amazing?
That's hard. I made a lot of spontaneous decisions. Usually they don't turn out amazing.
After you won world champion, what is then the ultimate challenge?
To do it again. What the hell? It's not like you did it once and that's it. You quit.
Hey Vishy, welcome to the Bombay Journey Chennai edition. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Looking forward to a little nostalgia trip myself.
Yeah, this show is presented by the Hyundai Creta Undisputed Ultimate, and we're happy to have somebody who's broken some of the ultimate challenges in the world. Did you think you would be getting here someday?
A lot of time, yes. As I got closer, it began to seem more realistic.
Yeah.
But of course, as a kid, you dream of it.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how near or far that dream is? No, but that's part of the joy, right? You kind of dream of it. So, yes, I always dreamed I would be able to be very successful at chess.
Yeah.
That kind of I'm glad it worked out.
That's so cool. But really hot in Chennai. Is this the summer settling in, or it's not even summer yet?
Yes, it's very hot and it started early.
Oh, really?
April is our peak month.
Ah.
It's pretty hot already by mid-April, so
Yeah.
mid-March.
Yeah, we're in the middle of
So
March.
it's going to
and
be
it is-
brutal.
That's so true. I'm just going to get my ventilated seats on. You can adjust yours if you need
Sure.
to. But tell me this, आपकी थोड़ी बहुत परवरिश मनाली में भी हुई. ये कैसे हुआ? Is it the father's job that took you there?
Yes, my dad worked in the railways all his life, and so my entire early childhood was spent in the railway colonies and near Madras Central, in Perambur first, which is where I was born. But then I grew up in the Sterling Road, Nungapakkam, Loyola, Egmore, that area. I studied in Don Bosco, so that's kind of where we are.
But what was it like? Do you remember the day when your mother handed you over that chessboard or sat down with you to play chess?
Quite well. She took out the chessboard and she taught me the rules, and they might have given me a book that they happened to have at home, and that was it.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't know whether I was just curious one day. You know, kids change their mind all the time.
That's so true.
Or maybe thing. But then they saw I kept coming back to chess, looking at the chessboard, and somehow they thought, well, maybe it fascinates them. I think I must have asked them to play with me again. So they thought, well, what the hell? And then they put me in a chess club, which is something else. Hopefully, I can show you.
So you're saying Chennai had a chess club which was up and brimming that time?
Chennai has always been the strongest chess playing city in India.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's always dominated chess, and I was lucky to have the strongest chess club in India, basically 10 minutes away.
Wow.
So
Where is it? Does it still exist?
the club doesn't exist anymore, but they place there. It used to be the old Soviet cultural center, not a consulate, but a cultural center.
Yeah. Which is your first memory of seeing like one of those grandmasters, at their play, really taking it?
So I'll tell you, there was a grandmaster called Bagirov.
Okay.
He visited us in Chennai, and he gave a simultaneous display. That is, he played 40 of us. There's still a photo somewhere, and which I've got. And he played 40 of us. And
Wow.
one of the things I did was, at some point, I offered him a draw,
Okay.
because I thought, well, my bishop and pawn support each other, so he cannot take it. What the hell? Let me try offering him a draw. He kind of picked up his rook. He picked up my bishop, and he said, "You want to draw?" basically saying,
Yeah.
come on, with this piece balance, I'm never going to give you a draw, and you put it back on. So it was a fun experience.
Wow. How did that feel? Did your ego go for a toss, or were you just learning and being like, oh my god, the Grandmasters gave me a
I think
choice?
whatever he would have said we would have been tickled pink, because after all he's a great grandmaster. But
Yeah.
I think at that point I didn't understand. I thought, wow, I thought he would take my draw, but we must have known that we were being cheeky as well.
Is that a common thing?
Very much.
A little bit
In
of
fact,
cheekiness?
lots of youngsters, when I give simultaneous displays now,
Yeah.
lots of youngsters offer me a draw and so on. Almost like, come on, shall we make a draw? Often like, hey buddy, you want a good deal or something. And I tell them, no, I'm not going to give you a draw. Some of them have had to try to take one of my pieces while I
Yeah.
wasn't there, in the hope that I wouldn't notice. And they're quite disappointed when I come back and say, put it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because
So
of course I can tell that something's missing. So
Yeah.
I immediately tell them, put it back, and then they laugh.
Perfect. But you've done, I remember, about 39 simultaneous, or 59 was it? The
I've
number?
done all types. I've done 40, 30, 20.
But what is the kick in that? Like, is that something that
It's
one
basically
aspires
a
to?
way to get people into the game. You
Yeah.
popularize the game. You give many people a chance to play against a grandmaster, and
Yeah.
for them, that's a matter of pride, and that's kind of the kick. You get to say, "Hey, I played against this person." And
Yeah.
you feel good about yourself.
That's so true. But you were so young when you won. You were about 15 when you won the championship the first time?
I was 13 when I won the national sub-junior and the national junior,
Yes.
and after that, from 13 till 17, I was winning new things. When I was 16, I became national champion for the first time. Meantime, I'd completed my international master requirements, and so lots of
So
Asian
when-
junior champion.
So when you're 13 and you're winning, what does that feeling do to you? And can you remember that day when you were getting there? Were you nervous at all? Were you second guessing anything at all?
I think it felt good, but already I was quite confident in my strength. I thought I was the strongest player, or at least one of the favorites, and so I took it in stride. There were one or two setbacks, and I remember both the Asian juniors I played, I lost one early game, then I had to come back and overtake the others, and so on. There were bumps. It was bumpy, but I was becoming quite confident on that stage. Becoming grandmaster, becoming world junior champion was more of a surprise. I think I couldn't be sure it would happen, so it was very pleasant that it did.
That's so cool. I mean, do you think in today's day and age, series like, let's say, the Queen's Gambit is doing well for chess? Because after that, there was a 87% spike in chessboards being ordered online.
Yes, very much. When we had a fantastic series, something like 70 million people watched it.
Yeah.
And we had an audience that was bored stiff at home, trapped, and chess was the perfect outlet. So a
Yeah.
lot of them took up the game, and the game has benefited a lot from that. And also the timing was impeccable. If the pandemic had happened 10 years earlier, the bandwidth wouldn't have been so good.
Yeah.
So
That's
even
so
there,
true.
even the bandwidth was perfect. and
Yeah.
connectivity was perfect, and so on.
That's
I
so
mean,
true.
I hope I'm not mocking it, but
No, but internet
thanks
penetration
thanks
today
to
is so
the
good.
pandemic, it just benefited.
Yeah, no,
So-
100%. But you have been, like we speak about MS Dhoni being this captain cool. You also walk around with such like a absolute calm demeanor all the time. Whenever I've seen you, it's one hand in the pocket, or you're just like that, very quietly walking around. How does one attain that kind of zen?
But being a good actor, I would say, I also think it's second nature. When I'm playing and in public places, I don't generally get too expressive.
Yeah.
But it's not that like I'm not going crazy inside.
Yeah.
But you can't let everyone see that also, because that's giving away information. So you try to keep it inside.
That's so nice. But 2013, was it the year when Magnus took over?
Yeah.
How did that year feel?
It's tough. I mean, losing the title is a heavy blow. It's the end of a journey which dominates your thinking for many years of your life. But eventually I adapted and moved on. For a couple of months, I couldn't even bear to look at chess. But eventually it got much better.
So, just to read
And I
between the
could
lines-
always go back home and my son would cheer me up. And,
Yeah,
you distract yourself with other things.
But to everybody watching, it's how does a athlete, a sports person, player get out? Like, Is there ways that you can come out of it?
What I suggested, that you don't look at the game for a while, and typically in a month or two the hunger comes back. But other people may have different ways of doing it. You may overdo the chess. You may get away from it. Each one has his way of coping.
Interesting.
But for me, I think for those 2 months I didn't even read what was happening about chess. I blocked all the chess news. I only because it was too close to what I didn't experience. So I wanted only the most distant news imaginable, and that was fine for a couple of months. And then I checked into the world of chess again after sometime late Jan. So
interesting. But what is a good age to start playing chess for a child, for any parent watching this?
You can start at any age.
Really?
I think even 4 is good. There are people who start earlier even. But I think 4 is fine. Anything above 4 is fine. Honestly, for youngsters, chess is effortless. It's a very fixed set of rules, and then after that, they master it very fast. In the same way that youngsters pick up language, they can pick up chess very fast. Yeah. Okay, I better show you a few things though.
Okay.
So this was one of the very important streets in my life. My father, when he was general manager Southern Railway, we lived on the street, and this is the railway bungalow.
Oh wow.
Kaveri, this one.
That's where you were from what age to what age did you stay here?
I was here 2 years, 85 and 86.
Hey, general manager, that's a big post.
Exactly. But this was a general manager's house, a huge house.
Wow.
I could do my full run within the house itself. Number 2, I think. Yeah, this house.
This is number 2.
House, yeah.
Hold on, let's see it. Come.
But yeah. So as you can see, it's a dream place to grow up. And
this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Like the movies.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So what do you remember of the father? Like, what are the father-son conversations like?
My dad, how shall I put it, gave me some advice, but he was also good fun. He would tell me stories about his different postings, especially a lot of his trips in Africa. So early on, he was mandated to go and represent or make a sales pitch in some other country, offering to sell our bogies or our coaches and things like that.
Wasn't he a consultant by the end in another country as well?
No, he was a consultant for 1 year.
Yeah.
But he basically did lots of things in the railways.
I was telling you how to do the dual zone climate control, and I realized you have the same car, so you can operate as per your will. But tell me this, just generally growing up, how would you then allocate time for studies versus...
So the deal I had was get your homework out of the way and then enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And I stuck to that reasonably well. Did well in studies, more or less. As I started to play more and more, it took a toll on my studies.
Yeah.
So my marks dropped, but didn't crater. They dropped, and then they dropped to some reasonable midpoint, and then that was good enough.
Never a bunking kind.
I will not give you any more details.
No bunking.
How much lower they went. No, in fact, my classmates used to tease me. What the hell? You played a match, you came back to school. What's wrong with you? You just take...
you had a hall pass to stay out.
Yeah, we had a pass to go home. What the hell? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
So I was goody two shoes in some ways.
And no female attention from that time in life?
Arvind Swamy was my classmate. So
then everything went that side.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
So
and always the heartthrob, is he? Was he?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Have you seen that film?
No, but I also, a lot of other guys. I was again playing chess a lot. I was traveling a lot, so it wasn't a thing. My classmates used to persuade me to come to this cultural event and that cultural event in this college and that college. But I think rather than trying to set me up with girls, they were trying to set themselves up with girls via me, and I was just being used.
Yeah, it really sucks to be that friend. I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like.
He's a chess champion, and by the way, can I have your number or whatever? I guess that's how it went. So. But I happily played along. So.
But just tell me this: how much money does it take to get into serious chess?
It increases as it goes along. I mean, obviously, once you become one of the best juniors and so on, it picks up from there. People have this idea that chess doesn't require anything, that just or really people who don't know the game, think, oh, it's just a chess set and coins.
Yeah.
And you're right, and it's just chess set and coins. But then for cricket as well, you don't really need anything. You just
You
need
need
3
cricket.
stumps and a bat.
Yeah.
It's when you want coaching and specialized practice and things like that. As improvement, it starts to add up, and
Yeah.
it can be quite substantial. So at some point, the parents are supporting their kids a lot, and then they try to get a sponsor, and it goes like that.
How much would a tournament pay? Like if you won something, how much would that come to?
In those days, we're talking Indian events. First of all, you have to add that I don't think anyone now remembers such figures.
Okay.
You could have a full meal in Bombay for 5 rupees.
Yeah.
It was those times.
Yeah.
And so prices were comparable, but I don't know what to say. I don't even remember the prices much then. I remember once in my chess club, they had a small tournament. And first prize was 8 rupees.
Wow.
So I thought I can treat myself. I took this 8 rupees. There's a hotel right behind the chess club. I went there.
What
I had
was
a
it
full
called?
dosa and sambar. I had one drink, some juice, and I could pay for it with my prize money. So it was a good thing I was 8 years old or something. But anyway,
Wow. So we're talking 1969 then.
1969 I was born, so this is what, 77.
Yeah,
78,
so-
thereabouts. It could have been even later, but
Okay, let's talk Ultimates now. We have a special segment for you called the Ultimate Challenges, presented by the Hyundai Creta Undisputed Ultimate.
Mhm.
Tell me this: what was it? Do you remember yourself putting yourself to the Ultimate Challenge, the first Ultimate Challenge that you gave yourself?
I think it took me 3 years to win my first national men's championship.
Yeah.
It took me similar number of attempts to win the national sub-junior, national junior. But then it went faster for the international master title. I think also on the first attempt I won my Asian junior, and the world junior was 4th attempt. Grandmaster, I don't know, was 8th or 9th attempt. So then it gets harder. Then world championship was already 3rd attempt that I won, and so on.
Lovely. So the Ultimate Challenge was World Champion. After you won World Champion, what is then the Ultimate Challenge?
Do it again. What the hell?
You keep repeating.
Of
Hold the
course,
title.
it's not like you did it once and that's it. You quit. You try to see how long you can challenge yourself, how long you can, because the whole world is working hard to take it away from you. So you think, well, let me
Yeah.
see how long I can deny them, and
That's
that
so
becomes
true.
a challenge in itself. So that plus the chance to go around India popularizing the game,
Yeah.
and things like that.
What is the ultimate move that you've seen somebody deploy at you? Like, and you can be really specific. Like, go geek max on this if you want to. Our audiences are nice enough to decode it in the comment section for us.
This last year when I was playing Prague in London, he surprised me very quickly in a Scotch opening. That's an opening.
Yes, they're going to break it down for us.
Yeah, but I think I remember being really surprised by that. That was good recent experience. Otherwise, you lose track of how many times you're surprised, because people are always trying to surprise you,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And as for me, I think I played some very, very good games in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In Dubai, in the Global Chess League, I managed to play some very nice games. That was a good year. Also in Zagreb, I was playing well for a while at least, and so on.
Interesting. What would you say was the ultimate shock when a bot trained by you was defeated by you? Was that interesting for you to see?
It was strange. I mean, suppose it still felt personal, and I kept thinking, this is a bot based on my games. I shouldn't get angry, but I got angry
Why did you get angry?
because I wasn't playing very well. And then I realized I would be really annoyed to lose to it. But then luckily, in the end game, I tricked it, and I managed to draw. Chess is always personal somehow.
How is that happening?
If you play badly, you come home feeling miserable, as if you yourself played badly. It's not just your chess which is bad. The whole of you feels bad. So in that sense, it's intense. And same thing on the other end. When the chess goes well, you feel wonderful all day. You feel like you're flying from one place to the other. That's also there. Both the good and bad.
But any ultimate tip that you've gotten from any of the greats across the world, it could be any sport, not just chess.
Lots of sensible ideas.
Yeah?
Pretty much what you'd imagine. Try to stay in control. Try to be apart from your game so that you can stop yourself, your game playing side. You have to be in control. Things like that. Nothing earth shattering, but doing it yourself is still a shock.
Yeah.
The first time, when you implement it, that is still amazing.
So like you've thought of a strategy at home, but when you're implementing is...
Yes, and also some great player tells you, I struggle like this, I struggle like that. That's revealing.
Yeah.
But often you don't understand what happened till you experience it once yourself. So
Yeah. Can you give me an example of this, of what you've just said? Because where would Vishy struggle? I would like to know.
many areas, lots of games would slip out of my hands, and I would think, well, why does it keep going wrong again and again like this?
Yeah.
And then you realize that your focus is slightly shifting and you're getting excited or something else. And then you come back, you work, you do it 3 or 4 times, and one day, without realizing it, you suddenly ace it, and then you feel
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Coming back to the ultimate challenge and the ultimate bit of ours, you're big on road trips, I've heard. Are you a traveler?
I like travel, yes.
But not road trips so much.
Well, that road trip was because of a volcano which exploded.
Yeah, that was 40 hours of a road trip.
40 hours of a road trip, and it wasn't entirely by choice, but it's just the airspace was shut down, so we did have to make a road trip out of it.
Wow.
40 hours. But I don't mind a great scenic road trip. I have traveled with my parents all over the South India.
Yeah.
Basically, we do the big leg by train.
Yeah.
My father had his own saloon.
So nice.
So we had our own bedroom and bathroom and everything.
Oh, wow.
And everything. And then we would go to that town, and then within that town, we'd visit many places. We'd visit some temples, visit some.
Are we talking about a
sites.
saloon as a bogie or a saloon as a car?
As a bogie.
Oh, wow.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
So
No, our
have
train
a-
was much better than our car. Trust me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there are some privileges that you've gotten that you have no idea about.
no, this was the big thing. And so with my parents, we'd get to travel a lot in style, and he would do his inspection tours. And it was
Yeah.
really good fun.
So, fatherhood, then when that happens, how does life change?
That was quite a while later. So after that, we were kind of transitioning back to moving towards India, because by now flight connectivity, everything had improved. I had a lot of people I could work with in India, so it was not so crucial to live in Spain. And I kind of missed coming back. So came, and then luckily Arna was expecting, and
Yeah.
then Akhil was born, and that's been fantastic. I mean, it's of course, being a parent changes you in many ways, and it's been something very nice and profound, and all the cliches are true. You appreciate your parents 100 times more when
Really?
you become one yourself. I don't even mean in the way that you appreciate how difficult it was for them,
Yeah.
and so on, but also you see that so many memories come back of your own experiences with your parents and so on.
That's so true.
You see how your son will do the same thing as your mother,
Yeah.
and these kinds of things.
Correct.
And you enjoy that a lot.
You all paint
That's very
together
fun.
also?
I wish I could. I mean, in school I did the 2 mountains and a sun in between.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
same.
had
We were really good then.
Yes.
And the river and the house.
And the river, a house with a window.
Yeah,
That
and the
was it.
chimney with some smoke.
Yeah, all this crap. But he's doing serious painting, and
Yeah.
I stand there with some awe. But then I always tell myself, maybe my dad looked at me like that when I was playing chess. Who knows? But no, it's great. I mean, he discovered this interest in art, and then he's got heavily into it.
Yeah.
And he's working very hard at it. He practices a lot. So
And I am today years old to learn about the blitz and the various kinds of formats that exist in chess.
Right.
So can you be the kind person who takes us through that journey? Like
sure. So when I was in those days, we used to have play games over 5 hours. That's
Okay.
2.5 hours per player for what he moves, so roughly 5 hours. And then games used to be adjourned for another day and so on, which is another story. But
that's not the
for the
case
moment, yeah. Now what you do, you don't postpone a game for another day. The game stretches to 6 hours, sometimes 7 hours. In fact, Now it's trending back towards 5 hours, but the game finishes in 5 hours.
Oh,
It's
nice.
not or 4 hours. I mean, it's
So
compressing.
it is timed. It is also there is.
It's always been timed, because otherwise, what to do if your opponent just refuses to make a move?
Yeah.
So you can't say he's not thinking. So, and the other thing was, we would play 5-minute games
Okay.
where both sides would play with 5 minutes. We take a clock and we just play fast.
Tuck, 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 tuck,
That's
tuck.
more fun. It's thing, and also everything gets over quickly, so more people are able to play more games.
Yeah.
And that's what we did in this club.
Hmm.
And we did it because we wanted a kick. We could have sat and played slow games, but all of us, there were 10 of us, and we all wanted to play some games fast. The others wanted to watch.
The others.
So we had this queue system.
Okay.
The winner would sit. The loser would get up and go and sit in the queue. The guy in the front of the queue will come and play
Simple.
his game,
Yeah.
and whoever wins would stay.
Okay.
So it was a good idea. If you wanted to play a lot of games, it was a good idea to win a lot.
Perfect.
And over time, the legend goes, that's what I did. I think, yes, I did win a lot of games.
So
but,
you just you sat there.
and I also got into the habit of playing very fast, so I became known as Lightning Kid and all that.
But who gave you that title? Because I want to know that title.
So
is
there was a
beautiful
chess player called Kameshwaran.
one. Okay.
One of these people, these dedicated people who form the association, may get the boards, organize tournaments, basically move chess activity forward. I think he very much was one of these people.
Yeah.
And he was responsible for Tal Chess Club, which is what I'll show you now.
Oh, so he is the one to give you the coining of the term.
So he was had to write something for a newspaper, and there was another boy called T.S. Ravi,
Yeah.
and so he had to write an article about thing, and he coined the expression "Lightning Kid" for
So
me
nice.
because I was playing very fast, and that name kind of stuck for a long time.
Yeah. It's so nice. You seem to not have any like arrogance or any air about any of this. Very chill.
Yeah.
Have you always been that kid?
I don't know. I just remember this, and it was a fun time. It was
Good times, yeah.
It was a fun time. I remember it fondly. For me, going to some other school and entering the school, and there'd be some small chessboard somewhere, and we'd go and play a game. But for me, those games were life and death.
Yeah.
I had to beat that guy and come
Every
on,
game.
and- Yes, because the rivalries were quite intense. I mean, this boy T.S. Ravi, I remember having a big rivalry. We'd go at each other quite hard. But now, I meet him sometimes, and with a smile, you remember that once you were great rivals, and we used to meet in this school competition and that school competition, and it was
Yeah.
thing. So
I mean, are you even a great player without a great opponent? Isn't that what they say about sport?
even more so, I would say that what a junior experiences against another junior rival is not less than what the two top players in the world play against each other.
Really?
In terms of the emotion is the same. Maybe the
Yeah.
effort and all that dissipates faster.
yeah,
They'll
correct.
last longer or whatever. But some games which I lost at a very young age, I still remember because
Really?
they're painful. They're painful, yeah. I mean, I remember the position, and it still annoys me that I made that mistake, and so on. So I remember the opening. I remember which position it was, and so on.
What are these
One
openings? Isn't there the least amount of moves in which you can beat somebody in chess is 7? Or is that the 4th? I don't know. I used to remember Naman used to beat me in that.
So the minimum possible, earliest possible mate is in 2 moves.
2 moves?
Yeah, but it requires perfectly bad play. No, it can't be just lousy play. There are 2 moves, and if white makes those 2 moves, black will give checkmate on the second move.
Okay, can you tell me what this is?
So you move the 2 pawns to the right of your king.
Okay.
That should do the trick.
Why would you do that?
But especially the second pawn, he has to move 2 squares,
Oh.
so that the queen can come and give a diagonal check and
Perfect.
mate. So
But
that is.
how and why would you move the...
But a lot of people do that. They move this pawn, then they look and they're curious, they move the other pawn. So, aptly, this is called fool's mate.
Fool's mate.
Yeah. Because you really have to be a fool
Yeah.
to get through it. Then there's a slightly harder one called scholar's mate, which is where the bishop and queen combine to give a mate.
Okay.
That at a minimum takes 4 moves.
Yes, that's the 4
Yeah,
moves one.
4 moves one.
Yeah.
And again, at every stage, the right move can delay the mate for 7-8 moves easily.
Oh wow.
So it's quite hard. I mean, you need people who are precisely playing bad moves. It's not, you can't just screw up, casually.
Yeah.
You've got to be good at it.
Yeah.
And then it happens.
You have to be good
Okay.
at being bad.
Good at being bad. I couldn't have put it
Ouch.
better myself.
Yeah.
So that's one level.
Please tag those friends below in the comments who are really good at being bad and you are beating them all the time. But the various formats you were telling me, so just if you have to list, there is a 5-minute which
There's
is
a 5-minute which is called Lightning or Blitz.
okay.
There is 4 or 5 hours which is called Classical.
This is classical, yeah.
And then there is Rapid, which is 40 minutes, 1 hour, all those are considered
But
rapid.
how do you cut time to 40 minutes to 1 hour?
You'll split it accordingly. You'll give 20 per player, 30 per player, whatever.
Perfect.
And then you get this,
Yes.
even 10 and 15 per player are considered rapid, more than Blitz. And nowadays you can go even shorter. You have 3 minutes, which is also considered Blitz. But then if you get to 1 minute per player, it's called Bullet.
Bullet.
Even faster than Blitz.
Oh, this is absolutely new. I haven't heard of this one.
So when you play 1 minute again, and by the way, I've almost never played a 1 minute game. It's just, these are for junkies.
Yeah.
So there's Bullet, and now there are multiple formats. And typically all these formats, Blitz, Bullet and all, will require you to play 15-20 games. Because you're playing shorter games, you can play many more of them. And that's kind of how chess navigates different formats. The faster formats, so that people who may not have the time to watch a full 5-hour game might be able to watch this. And things.
I mean, chess has also had its moments, right? With the whole Jeans Gate thing, I didn't quite understand it because I was like, is there a particular wear that you're expected to have?
So there is a dress code in chess.
Yeah.
And because you can have torn jeans and lousy looking jeans and all these kinds of things, the arbiters decided when you have a tournament with 700 players, you can't be having too much room for interpretation. That's what they thought, and they decided to just ban jeans and ask people to. And of course, there were already a couple of people who had jeans. Anyway, long story short, Magnus came with jeans. He was given several warnings. He refused to change, and boom. But that's also a moving target. Rules keep changing and so on. But you have to. I think at some point the World Chess Federation and the sport has to seriously enforce its rules.
That's so true. Gukesh winning is also super proud for us as Indians because suddenly, and there was a huge contingent representing this last time. So how does that feel for you? Because you're the pioneer till, I don't know, till 2010, 13, 15. We didn't know of anybody else except V. Anand. So that is a big one for India, no?
Obviously, I'm very, very happy with what Gukesh has accomplished, and that he was in my academy for 4 years before that. You feel that you contributed to something, and that's a great feeling.
But you knew the boy had spark or spunk. You could tell he'll go that far.
It was obvious to me that he was incredibly gifted. I mean, he was 14 when I met. Not when we met, but when we started working. And he's the youngest ever world champion at 18. So it's quite something.
Tell me this, Chennai, and how much does this city contribute to who Vishy is as a human being?
It's a lot. Even in the past, Chennai was the center of Indian chess, and now it is even more so. Chennai and Tamil Nadu are at the forefront of the strongest state by far in chess. I mean, just like you have different sports in different parts of the country, and Chennai does very well with chess. And I think culturally there's broad acceptance. A lot of families want their kids to play chess. They're very happy if the kids express any interest. They support them a lot. And all these things also matter. I think that's why Tamil Nadu does so well in chess.
That's so true. Which brings us to the last segment, which is called Driving Down Memory Lane. When was the last time you made a spontaneous decision that turned out to be amazing?
That's hard. I've made a lot of spontaneous decisions. Usually they don't turn out amazing. They turn out spontaneous. But anyway.
I mean, the 2+2 happening there is not very easy. Okay, when was the last time you Googled yourself? Do you do that ever?
Yeah, I do it sometimes. Typically, I might be looking to see if something I said or did is already out or it isn't, that kind of thing. I'm not into ego surfing much.
Yeah?
No.
Never have been.
No, it's not like that. But now in fact, for me, the internet and all is more of an escape. I look at something completely different.
Perfect. When was the last time you were completely lost in a new place?
My wife says every day. I think she's right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm lost without my phone, and quite often I'm absolutely sure that the direction I've been walking in for the last 5 minutes is the correct one, and then look at the maps and it tells me I'm going in the wrong direction. Then I understand.
Oh, damn it.
So, not a navigator.
Oh, perfect. Tell me this. When was the last time you had a fan moment yourself? And second part, when was the last time you got starstruck yourself?
I mean, I went to a Andrea Bocelli concert in April last year, and I really enjoyed that. And of course, afterwards, we played a chess game together.
Oh, no!
Things like that. It was cool.
Oh, wow.
And you know the funny thing? He put a trap for me. And I thought, he actually expects me to fall into this. So I did something. And then after I made my move, he put his hand, because he has to feel the pieces, right?
Yeah.
So he puts his hand, feels the piece, and realizes I didn't make the move he wanted me to make. And he goes, oh. And I found that so funny. I mean,
it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. But he expected me to fall, and then he was really hoping that he could get that win. And that he then competes very seriously.
That's
So
perfect.
that's
I mean,
perfect. I enjoyed that very much. Yeah.
And when was the last time you were starstruck? Sorry, when was the last time you had a fan moment yourself?
You mean someone else reacting?
Yes.
It happens all the time. I mean, lots of people ignore me. Then a little bit later, they see someone else looking at me, and then it clicks. And then they come and say, "Oh, I can't believe it! You look different. This, that, whatever." So it happens quite often.
That's so nice. That's so sweet also. When was the last time you were confused to somebody else? Who do they think you are and take a selfie with you asking for something?
That's been a while. Famously, once one man came to me at security and told me, "Sir, you were super in your last film." So, and I didn't get around to asking him which film it was. So.
And did you give him the photo?
He didn't ask for a photo.
Oh, the Ganimat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have been a tricky one.
Sure.
Which was the last series that you binge watched?
I mean, I think during the pandemic, I was watching 3 seasons, 4 seasons, and all.
Yeah, but
all this Money Heist.
Money Heist, yeah.
What was the other one? House of Cards and all that.
Perfect.
But nowadays, I don't get beyond 6 episodes. So I don't like very long series anymore.
Fair enough. When was the last time you binge ate? And what was it?
I work very hard these days not to binge eat.
Nice.
And I switch off much faster. But I'm sure that if I thought 6-7 years ago, I might have had one day when I went crazy.
Yeah.
Some sweets would have been in the mix. Some of my favorite dishes as well.
What
Could
would
easily
these
be in a chaat and ice cream day or something.
Yeah.
That's good.
Perfect. No, you're not a Mysore Pak kind of a person, more chaat.
As well, I mean, I told you grand sweets and all. So
Yeah.
my mother and me used to nibble a few Mysore Pak and all.
Tell me this, is there any pre-game ritual that you would have, like any superstitions?
I think it's more a thing of habit. You become attached to habit because there are many. You think I'm going to be thinking enough at the board. I don't want to have to think about anything else.
Okay.
And you have your routines. You put your shirt in a certain way. If you win that day, you'll put your shirt like that, exactly like that. The next day, you'll get your favorite pen. You'll do it like this. You'll walk like this, walk like that. Yeah. I guess you're tense and wound up, and that's how your body deals with it. But
that's interesting to know. I mean, but there's no like mantra that you will say right before game or something like that you ever did.
I might just say a short prayer.
Yeah.
Typically something for Ganesh. Then go. That's the quickest prayer also. quick consulting, and then
Like Ganpati Appa Moria types or Om Ganesha Namaha.
Yes, sometimes just Om Ganesha or something a bit longer. We'll just have a quick prayer.
You can tell us. We've had.
Sure, I'm. Or I might just say, Pillar, help, and then just go on. So it's whatever.
That's buttering God. I mean, this is a ritual that we're talking about. This one.
Totally. Our relationship with God is totally buttering.
Yeah, a lot of it is. Yes.
Yes.
What are the first car stories like?
Once I stopped at a signal, and the car lurched forward and hit a guy on a bike.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I think the brakes failed or something, and it just
Yeah.
lunged forward and hit him. Nothing, no real damage. Anyway, my father told, I told you not to drive like that. So that car got confiscated for a while. then I started traveling to play tournaments, and I lost track with driving.
Oh
and
damn.
In fact, I don't drive anymore.
Absolutely. Oh nice. That's not a bad thing at all. I mean, while we love hearing stories of cars and your stories with cars, this is also an outcome of that.
Yes. I have an even better bike story.
Oh, please tell us.
With great difficulty, I was pestering my parents to buy me a moped, and they brought me a moped.
Perfect.
And then I was very happy. Oh, now I can get around all the
No cycle
places.
business anymore. Yeah.
And then next day, one day I wake up and I come down. I can't see my moped. I went and asked my mother, "Where's my moped?" And she said, "We sold it."
Oh.
I said, "Why?" She said, "I don't know. It's very dangerous." I said, "What are you talking about?" And this morning I read about one boy who was in a moped. He got hit by a thing, and so we decided to sell the thing. I said, "But it wasn't even me. Why did you sell it?" And she just said, "No, and my dad also." And they understood that if they just played hard, if they just acknowledged my protest but didn't do anything about it for 1 or 2 days, eventually I'd move on. And so that was it. That was the end of that.
That is it.
Yeah. So it's not like they were really supportive of me going out on my own.
Yeah.
But once I started to travel, it became irrelevant anyway, because I couldn't be dealing with licenses and everything.
That's so true.
And so on.
But how has it been for you doing the Bombay Journey Chennai edition with us?
Fantastic.
Good fun.
I always, in fact, it's a chance to visit all these places. It's a pity I didn't get to visit my parents' home, because it would be nice to see it again. But what the hell.
Yes. Damn it. No, please share
Well, I
some photos
can
if you can.
Sure, I can go there myself.
But thank you so much for being on the Bombay Journey Chennai edition. It's
Thanks.
been a pleasure. This is me, Siddharth Anand, signing off.